Story 1. Working retail during the holiday season is always an adventure, but nothing could have prepared me for the shift I had last week at Style Haven. What should have been a routine Saturday afternoon turned into what we now call the Great Coupon Debacle of 2024. I'd been working the register for about 4 hours when she walked in, a woman in her mid-40s, who I'll call Karen. She spent nearly an hour trying on clothes, making a mess of our newly organized sales floor, and loudly commenting about how everything was overpriced. Still, nothing too unusual for retail. That changed when she finally came to check out. Karen had amassed quite a pile: 3 designer dresses, 2 pairs of premium jeans, and various accessories. The total came to just over $850. That's when she pulled out a crumpled coupon from her purse with a triumphant smile. Me, welcome to Style Haven. Did you find everything okay today? Karen, yes, and I have a coupon for 50% off my entire purchase. She slid the wrinkled paper across the counter. One glance told me this wasn't going to end well. The coupon was for Fashion Flair, our main competitor across the mall, and it had expired 3 months ago. Me, I apologize, but I won't be able to accept this coupon. It's for Fashion Flair, not Style Haven, and it's expired. Karen, what do you mean you won't accept it? A coupon is a coupon. Me, they're different stores. Ma'am, we only accept Style Haven coupons. Karen, that's ridiculous. They sell clothes, you sell clothes. It's the same thing. My coworker at the next register shot me a sympathetic look. We both knew where this was heading. Me, I understand your frustration, but we're a different company. We can't accept competitors' coupons. Karen, listen, I've been shopping here for years. The customer is always right. That's basic retail policy. Me, we do have our own current promotions I'd be happy to tell you about. Karen, I don't want to hear about other promotions. I want you to honor this coupon. Get me your manager. I called our manager, who was already heading over, having heard Karen's increasingly loud demands. Manager, is there a problem here? Karen, yes, your employee is refusing to honor my coupon and providing terrible customer service. She thrust the coupon at my manager, who examined it with raised eyebrows. Manager, ma'am, this is a Fashion Flair coupon from last season. Karen, so what? It's still a valid discount. This is highway robbery. By now, a small crowd of customers had gathered, pretending to browse nearby racks while watching the show unfold. Manager, we're not Fashion Flair. We can't accept their coupons, expired or not. Karen, well, I'm not leaving until you honor it. I'm calling corporate right now. She pulled out her phone and started dramatically Googling our corporate number. While she did this, she held up my line, forcing me to direct other customers to different registers. Some gave her dirty looks as they moved, but she was too busy with her phone to notice. Karen, yes, hello, I'm at your store on Main Street, and they're refusing to honor my coupon. This is discrimination. We could hear the customer service representative trying to explain the same thing we had, but Karen wasn't having it. Karen, no, you listen, I've already picked out all these clothes. I drove 30 minutes to get here. The customer is always right. While she argued on the phone, my manager disappeared into the back office. She returned a few minutes later with our store's small promotional display trash, the decorative kind we use near the registers. Karen was still on her phone, and another thing, oh, hold on, the manager's back. Manager, you wanted us to honor your coupon. Karen, yes, finally, someone who understands customer service. My manager held up the coupon, made eye contact with Karen, and slowly ripped it into tiny pieces, letting them flutter into the trash can like confetti. Manager, there. Now it's been honored. Would you like to purchase your items at full price, or shall I put them back? The phone fell from Karen's ear. Her face went through about 5 different shades of red. Karen, how dare you? I've never been so insulted in my life. This is horrible customer service. Manager, ma'am, you've held up my cashier for 15 minutes over a competitor's expired coupon. I've offered you a solution. What would you like to do? Karen, I want to speak to your manager. Manager, I am the store manager, and I'm telling you that you have two choices: pay full price or leave without the items. Karen, this is outrageous. I'm going to blast you on social media. I have over 300 followers. She stormed away from the counter, leaving behind the pile of clothes she'd spent an hour selecting. At the door, she turned around for one last shot. Karen, Fashion Flair would never treat their customers this way. Manager, you're right. You should go shop there, with a valid coupon. After Karen left, my manager helped me put back all the abandoned items. The other customers in line were actually applauding. We thought that was the end of it, but Karen wasn't done. She posted a lengthy rant on the store's social media pages about how we assaulted her coupon and discriminated against her as a customer. She even included a photo of the ripped-up coupon in the trash can. The comments section exploded, but not in the way she expected. People started sharing their own stories of customers trying to use competitors' coupons, and our manager became a minor retail legend. Someone even made a meme of the coupon ripping moment. The best part? Fashion Flair's social media team found her post and commented, "We'd be happy to honor our coupons when they're not expired." Karen deleted her post after that, but the story had already spread through all the stores in the mall. For weeks afterward, customers would come in asking if we'd seen the coupon lady's post, and my manager would just smile and point to the promotional trash can, which now has a small sign reading "Coupon Cemetery Rip." We did get a call from our district manager about the incident, but after reviewing the security footage and seeing how long Karen had held up the line with her demands, they actually commended my manager for handling it with creative flair. They did suggest maybe not ripping up future coupons, though apparently it's not quite the professional image they're going for. The following weekend, we noticed Karen shopping at Fashion Flair across the mall. Through the window, we could see her holding what looked like another coupon, gesturing wildly at their poor cashier. Some things never change. Story 2. I work at Aldi as a cashier, and let me tell you about the most ridiculous shopping cart drama I've ever witnessed. Most people understand our quarter deposit system for carts. It keeps the parking lot clean and carts from wandering off. But some folks act like we're asking them to hand over their firstborn child instead of just 25 cents. Last Tuesday started like any other day. I was working the register near the entrance when I noticed a woman, let's call her Karen, pacing back and forth by the cart return area. She'd peek inside her purse, huff loudly, and glare at anyone who successfully inserted their quarter and took a cart. After about 10 minutes of this performance, she approached my register. "Karen, this is ridiculous. I can't believe you charge people to use shopping carts." "Me, it's just a deposit, ma'am. You get your quarter back when you return the cart." "Karen, I shouldn't have to pay anything. I'm here to spend money at your store." "Me, would you like change for $1 to get a cart?" "Karen, absolutely not. I'm not paying for something that should be free." She stormed back to the cart area and resumed her pacing. I watched as she started hovering near customers who were returning their carts, but everyone was too quick for her. They'd already have their quarter back before she could reach them. That's when I noticed an elderly gentleman finishing up his shopping. He was moving slowly, carefully arranging his grocery bags in his trunk. Karen had apparently been watching him too, because she practically sprinted over to his cart. The moment he turned to close his trunk, Karen grabbed his cart and started walking away with it. The poor man was so startled he nearly dropped his car keys. Elderly man, "Excuse me, miss. That's my cart. I need to get my quarter back." Karen, "It's just a quarter. You'll survive." Elderly man, "But that's my deposit." Karen, "Well, you should have been faster. I've been waiting forever for a cart." By now, several customers had stopped to watch this scene unfold. The elderly man looked both confused and hurt, probably more by her rudeness than the loss of his quarter. That's when one of our regular customers, a guy in his 20s who comes in every Tuesday for his lunch break, stepped in. He walked right up to the elderly man and pulled a quarter from his pocket. "Young customer, here you go." "Sir, sorry about that." The elderly man tried to refuse, but the young customer insisted. Then, without missing a beat, the young customer turned around, grabbed Karen's newly acquired cart, which still had the elderly man's quarter in it, and started walking it back to the cart return. Karen, "Hey, what do you think you're doing? That's my cart." Young customer, "Actually, it's his cart. You stole it." Karen, "I did not steal it. He was done with it." Young customer, "And yet you didn't let him get his deposit back. That's stealing." By now, Karen was practically running after him, but she couldn't reach the cart in time. The young customer smoothly inserted the cart into the return stall, retrieved the quarter, and handed it back to the elderly man. Karen, "How dare you? I've been waiting for 20 minutes for a cart." Young customer, "And you could have had one 20 minutes ago if you'd just used a quarter like everyone else." Karen, "This is horrible customer service. I want to speak to a manager." My manager, who had been watching everything through the front windows, came out to investigate. Manager, "Is there a problem here?" Karen, "Yes, this man stole my shopping cart." Young customer, "Actually, she took this gentleman's cart before he could get his quarter back. I was just returning it to him." Elderly man, "She just grabbed it and walked away." Manager, "Ma'am, if you need a cart, you'll need to use a quarter deposit like all our other customers." Karen, "This is discrimination. I've never been so humiliated." Manager, "Would you like me to get you change for $1? Karen, "I want that cart. I had it first." Manager, "No, ma'am, you didn't. You took someone else's cart without their permission. Now, are you going to shop with us today?" Karen pulled out her phone and started recording. Karen, "Everyone needs to see how badly this store treats its customers. You're all going to be famous on social media." Young customer, "For enforcing a policy that's clearly posted everywhere and stopping you from stealing from an elderly man." Other customers were now openly laughing, which only made Karen more furious. She kept filming as she walked back and forth, narrating her terrible experience. Karen, "This store forced me to wait nearly half an hour for a cart, then allowed another customer to steal it from me. And the manager did nothing." My manager, who has mastered the art of dealing with difficult customers, simply smiled at the camera. Manager, "Ma'am, would you like me to show you where the quarter deposit sign is? We can get it in your video too." Karen finally lowered her phone, her face red with embarrassment and anger. Karen, "I'm never shopping here again." Manager, "That's your choice? Have a nice day." She stormed out of the store, still muttering about social media and lawsuits. The elderly man tried to give the quarter back to the young customer, but he wouldn't take it. Young customer, "Keep it as a backup for next time. Some people, right?" The best part, Karen came back the very next day with a quarter. She avoided eye contact with everyone, quickly got her cart, and speed walked through her shopping. When she was done, she made sure to get her quarter back, clutching it like it was solid gold. The elderly man has become a regular customer now, and sometimes he and the young customer shop at the same time. They always make sure to have their quarters ready, and occasionally share a knowing look when they see someone else complaining about the cart system. We did eventually see Karen's social media post about the incident. She conveniently left out the part about taking the elderly man's cart and quarter, instead focusing on how unreasonable it was to expect customers to pay for carts. The comments section was filled with people explaining how the deposit system works and asking why she didn't just bring a quarter. The young customer ended up becoming a bit of a local hero. Other regular customers who witnessed the incident still talk about how smoothly he handled the situation. We even had a few people come in specifically because they'd heard about how our staff and customers stood up for the elderly man. Now, whenever someone complains about the quarter deposit system, we just smile and tell them it's for their own protection. You never know when someone might try to steal your cart. Story 3. I've been working at the Grand Palace Hotel for 7 years, and I thought I'd seen every possible type of entitled guest behavior. But last week, we had an incident that has already become legend among the staff, a case of room theft that was as brazen as it was bizarre. It started normally enough. I was working the front desk when a woman, let's call her Karen, checked in for a 3-night stay in one of our standard rooms. She'd booked the cheapest available option through a discount travel site, a single bed, city view, nothing fancy. During check-in, she made several comments about how basic everything looked and how she was used to better. Me, your room is on the 3rd floor. Would you like assistance with your luggage? Karen, in this supposedly luxury hotel, shouldn't that be automatic? Me, our bellhop is currently helping other guests, but he'll be available shortly. Karen, never mind, I'll do it myself. Since I'm paying so much, I expected better service. She was paying our lowest possible rate, but I kept that observation to myself. Little did I know, Karen had plans to upgrade herself. About an hour later, one of our housekeepers radioed down. Housekeeper, something weird is going on with room 812. There's luggage in there, but it's supposed to be empty until the Anderson party arrives. That's when things got interesting. Room 812 was one of our luxury corner suites, complete with a full bar, jacuzzi tub, and panoramic views. It was booked for a honeymoon couple arriving that afternoon. Our head of housekeeping went to investigate and found Karen had somehow slipped in while the room was being cleaned and moved all her belongings from her assigned room. She was already in a bathrobe, drinking from the minibar. Head housekeeper, ma'am, this isn't your room. You're assigned to 304. Karen, well, I've moved. This room suits me better. Head housekeeper, you can't just move yourself to a different room. This suite is reserved for other guests. Karen, I got here first. Possession is 9/10 of the law, you know. The housekeeper called me, and I immediately contacted our manager. But before we could handle the situation, the actual guest, a newlywed couple, arrived for check-in. Me, I am so sorry, but we seem to have a situation with your room. Groom, what kind of situation? Manager, I'll handle this. Please, come with me. They went up to the suite, where they found Karen had drawn herself a bath and was going through the complimentary champagne. Manager, ma'am, you need to return to your assigned room immediately. Karen, I will not. I'm a paying customer, and this room was empty. It's your fault for not giving me a proper room in the first place. Bride, that's our honeymoon suite. Karen, well, you should have gotten here sooner. I'm already settled in. Manager, ma'am, I have your booking confirmation right here on my tablet. You reserved and paid for a standard single room. Karen, well, I deserve an upgrade. Do you know how much money I spend on hotels every year? Manager, that's irrelevant. This room is reserved for these guests. You need to gather your belongings and return to your assigned room now. Karen, I will not be treated this way. I'm calling my lawyer. She locked herself in the bathroom, leaving everyone standing in the suite listening to her ranting about customer rights and discrimination. Manager, ma'am, if you don't come out and return to your proper room, I'll have no choice but to call the police. Karen, go ahead. I'll tell them how you're harassing me. The manager looked at the newlyweds apologetically. Manager, I am so sorry about this. Let me call security, and we'll get this sorted out immediately. While waiting for security, we could hear Karen on her phone, apparently trying to call the police herself. Our manager simply made his own call to the local precinct, calmly explaining the situation. The police arrived quickly. Apparently, they don't take kindly to calls about luxury hotel discrimination. When they knocked on the bathroom door, Karen finally emerged, still in the hotel bathrobe. Karen, thank goodness you're here. These people are trying to force me out of my room. Officer, ma'am, we've seen your booking confirmation. This isn't your room. Karen, but it was empty, and my other room was totally inadequate. Officer, that's not how hotel rooms work. You can't just move into any room you want. Karen, but I'm a paying customer. Officer, Yes, for a different room. Right now, you're trespassing, and you've stolen items from the minibar. Karen, I didn't steal anything. I was going to pay for those drinks. Manager, with what? You declined to provide a credit card for incidentals at check-in. That's when Karen tried to make a run for it in the bathrobe, with her luggage still scattered around the suite. She didn't get far. The officers caught up with her at the elevator. Karen, you can't arrest me. Don't you know who I am? Officer, yes, ma'am. You're someone who's about to be charged with trespassing, theft, and disorderly conduct. As they escorted her out, still in the bathrobe, we had to send her clothes down later. She was screaming about lawsuits and social media exposure. What she didn't know was that our hotel is part of a larger luxury chain, and her photo and information were being circulated to every property in our network before she even reached the police station. The newlyweds were amazing sports about the whole thing. We upgraded them to our presidential suite for their entire stay, comped their minibar charges, and sent up fresh champagne. They even joked about including the story in their wedding speech. Later that evening, we found out this wasn't Karen's first hotel hijacking attempt. She'd been banned from 2 other major hotel chains for similar stunts, trying to upgrade herself without paying and throwing fits when caught. Apparently, she'd been working her way through all the luxury brands in the city. The next day, she called from the county jail, demanding we release her luggage without her having to come back to the hotel. She also wanted us to pay for her dry cleaning, claiming our security guards had wrinkled her designer clothes during her arrest. Manager, your belongings will be available for pickup in the lobby. You'll need to send someone else to get them, as you're now permanently banned from all our properties. Karen, you can't ban me. I'm a platinum member at competitor hotel chain. Manager, not anymore. They've already been notified of the incident. We later heard through the hotel grapevine that she tried to book a room at the budget motel across town, but even they turned her down. Her hotel crime spree had made her infamous in the local hospitality industry. The funniest part? The standard room she'd originally booked was actually quite nice. We'd even added a complimentary fruit basket as a welcome gift. But I guess some people just can't resist trying to scam their way into something better, even if it means ending up somewhere much worse. Story 4. Working at Mountain View Gardens, our city's most popular tourist attraction, has taught me a lot about human nature. Most visitors are great, but the local resident discount brings out some interesting characters. Yesterday's encounter really takes the cake. I was working the ticket counter during what started as a typical Sunday morning rush. The gardens were especially beautiful this time of year, and we had a steady line of tourists eager to see our famous spring blooms. That's when I met her. Let's call her Karen. She strutted up to my window wearing designer sunglasses and carrying a camera that probably cost more than my monthly rent. The tourist vibe was radiating off her, from her I Heart NY tote bag to her brand new hiking boots that had clearly never seen a trail. Me, good morning. Welcome to Mountain View Gardens. How many tickets would you like today? Karen, 1 ticket, local resident price. Me, of course. I'll just need to see your proof of residency, a driver's license, or utility bill works fine. Karen, oh, you don't need to see that. I've lived here my whole life. Everyone knows me. Me, I'm sorry, but we need to verify residency for the discount. It's our policy. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm here all the time. I've been working there for 3 years and had never seen her before, but I kept that thought to myself. Me, I understand, but we need to see proof of address for all resident discounts. The regular ticket price is $35 or $20 with verification of local residency. Karen, fine, let me check my purse. She made a big show of digging through her designer bag, muttering loudly about how absurd this was. The line behind her was growing, and people were starting to shift impatiently. Karen, oh no, I must have left my wallet in my other purse. But I promise you, I live right down on Cedar Street. Me, I'm sorry, but without proof of address, I can only offer the regular admission price. Karen, This is outrageous. I pay taxes here. I vote here. I'm practically friends with the mayor. My supervisor, who had been watching this unfold, moved closer to my window just in case things escalated. That's when Karen had what she probably thought was a brilliant idea. She turned around and scanned the line behind her, then pointed to a woman in hiking gear who was clearly a tourist. Karen, there, that's my cousin. She can vouch for me, we live in the same neighborhood. The woman looked up from her phone, completely confused. Tourist, excuse me. Karen, tell them. Tell them how long I've lived here. Tourist, I've never seen you before in my life. Karen, don't be silly. We just had dinner together last week. My supervisor stepped in at this point. Supervisor, ma'am, if this is your cousin and fellow resident, they're welcome to purchase your ticket at the resident rate. The tourist just shook her head and went back to looking at her phone. Other people in line were either staring at their feet or trying not to laugh. Karen, well, she's obviously confused. Fine, what about him? She pointed to an elderly man further back in line. Karen, he's seen me around the neighborhood, haven't you? Elderly man, I'm from Canada, ma'am. Karen, this is absolutely ridiculous. I demand to speak to whoever's in charge. Supervisor, that would be me. And as I said, we're happy to offer you the resident discount with proper verification. Otherwise, the regular admission price is $35. Karen, do you know how much money I spend in this town? I could buy this whole garden if I wanted to. Tourist, then surely you can afford the full ticket price. This got a few chuckles from the line, which only made Karen more indignant. Karen, I want all of your names. I'm going to write to the newspaper about this discrimination. Supervisor, would you like to purchase a ticket, or should we help the next customer? Finally realizing she was out of options, Karen slapped her credit card on the counter. Karen, fine. Highway robbery. That's what this is. I'll be calling the Better Business Bureau about this. Me. That will be $35, please. Would you like a garden map with that? Karen, I don't need a map. I know this place like the back of my hand. She snatched her credit card back after signing and stormed through the entrance. 5 minutes later, she was back at my window. Karen, where's the rose garden? Me, would you like a map now? Karen, just point me in the right direction. I gave her directions, and she huffed off again. Throughout the day, we kept seeing her getting lost and asking other visitors for directions, still refusing to take a map out of spite. The best part? One of our regular visitors, who actually lives on Cedar Street, where Karen claimed to live, came in later that day. She overheard us talking about the incident and started laughing. Local resident, Cedar Street? The house she probably lives in has been under construction for the past year. Nobody lives there yet. We saw Karen one more time that day, at closing time. She was complaining loudly on her phone about how overrated our gardens were and how she'd never come back to this tourist trap again. Yet somehow, she managed to take about 100 selfies in front of our most popular attractions. The next day, we found her 1-star review online. Horrible customer service. They discriminate against locals and demand private information just to get a discount. Also, the gardens are impossible to navigate. My supervisor printed it out and added it to our break room wall of fame, right next to the review from the guy who complained that our outdoor gardens weren't air-conditioned. The tourist she'd claimed was her cousin ended up being a travel blogger, who included the whole incident in her article about visiting our gardens. She titled it Local Discount Drama, a comedy in one act, and gave us a glowing review, mentioning how well the staff handled difficult situations. We've since added a large sign at the ticket counter listing accepted forms of proof of residency. Somehow, I don't think it will help with the next Karen who tries to claim she's a local. At least it gives us something to point to. Story 5. I've been working as a cashier at Value Mart for 6 years now, and I thought I'd seen every possible type of customer complaint. But yesterday, I witnessed what we're now calling the Great Dime Disaster of 2024. and it's definitely taken the top spot in my retail horror stories. It was a typically busy Saturday afternoon, and I was working Register 3 when she appeared, a woman I'll call Karen, pushing a cart filled with household items. Everything was going smoothly until we got to the last item, a decorative candle holder that was on sale for $9.99. Me, your total comes to $10.09. Karen, what? No, that's wrong. The sign said $9.99. Me, yes, that's correct. With sales tax, it comes to $10.09. Karen stared at me like I'd just told her the earth was flat. Karen, tax. There shouldn't be any tax. The sign said $9.99. Me, the listed price doesn't include tax. Ma'am, that's added at checkout. Karen, well, that's false advertising. You can't just add charges that aren't on the sign. I'd had this conversation countless times before, but something about Karen's tone told me this one was going to be different. Me, all our prices are before tax, as noted on the signs throughout the store. Karen, I've been shopping here for 20 years, and I've never paid tax on anything. My coworker at the next register actually snorted at this, quickly covering it with a cough. Me, I can assure you that sales tax has always been added at checkout. Karen, well, I'm not paying it. This is a scam to steal money from hardworking customers. By now, people in my line were starting to get restless. One man with just a gallon of milk sighed heavily. Me, would you like me to void the transaction? Karen, no, I want this candle holder. You should pay the extra 10 cents since your store is trying to scam me. Me, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Karen, why not? It's just 10 cents. Are you really that greedy? A woman behind Karen in line spoke up. Customer in line, lady, it's 10 cents. Just pay it or leave. Karen, stay out of this. This is between me and this scammer. She pulled out her phone and started filming me. Karen, I want your name and employee number. I'm calling corporate right now to report this fraud. My manager, who had been helping another customer, made her way over to my register. Manager, is there a problem here? Karen, yes, your employee is trying to overcharge me by adding fake fees to my purchase. Manager, you mean the sales tax? Karen, the sign said $9.99. I'm not paying a penny more. My manager reached into her pocket and pulled out a dime. With the most professionally blank expression I've ever seen, she held it out to Karen. Manager, here you go. Now you can afford it. The entire checkout area went silent. Karen's face turned an impressive shade of red. Karen, how dare you? I'm not some charity case. I make more money in a week than you do in a month. Manager, then surely 10 cents won't break the bank. Karen, this is about principle. You can't just add charges that aren't advertised. Manager, actually, we can and do. It's called sales tax. Would you like the dime or not? Karen grabbed the dime and threw it on the counter, where it bounced and rolled under a display of chewing gum. Karen, keep your money. I'm never shopping here again. She stormed toward the exit, leaving her full cart of items behind. Just before reaching the door, she turned around for one last shot. Karen, and I'm telling everyone on Facebook about this. Manager, please do. Make sure to mention how we tried to give you 10 cents. After she left, my manager helped me void the transaction and start putting items back. The other customers in line were trying not to laugh. Customer in line, does this mean I have to pay tax too? Manager, I'm afraid so. Would you like a dime? This got everyone laughing, breaking the tension. We thought that was the end of it. But oh no, Karen wasn't done yet. True to her word, she posted a lengthy rant on our store's Facebook page about how we humiliated her and tried to scam her with hidden charges. She even included the video she took, which only showed her yelling about the tax while I calmly tried to explain how it worked. The comments section was gold. Wait until she hears about income tax. I can't believe they tried to make her pay what everyone else pays. Does she think tax is optional? My personal favorite was from someone who did the math. You spent more money on gas driving to the store than the tax you refused to pay. Karen tried to argue in the comments that it wasn't about the money, it was about principle and truth in advertising. Someone responded by posting a picture of our store's entrance sign that clearly states, "All prices subject to applicable sales tax." The next day, an elderly customer came to my register and said she'd seen the Facebook post. Before I could explain anything, she handed me a dime. Elderly customer, this is for the next person who doesn't want to pay tax. By the end of the week, customers had given us enough dimes to fill a small jar, which we now keep at the customer service desk labeled Tax Emergency Fund. My manager says we should save them for the next time someone can't handle basic math. The best part, Karen came back 2 weeks later, probably thinking we wouldn't recognize her. She bought a birthday card $4.99 plus tax. When it rang up as $5.24, she opened her mouth like she was going to say something, then spotted my manager watching from the service desk. She quickly paid the full amount and practically ran out of the store. We still have her dime in the tax emergency fund jar. Sometimes when we have a difficult customer, my manager will pick it up and jingle it thoughtfully. It's amazing how quickly people decide they can afford their tax when they see that dime coming out. Story 6. Until 3 days ago, I was staying at a nice resort hotel in the Philippines. There were a lot of families there from many ethnicities, as the local Cebuanos could not afford this hotel. I was in line at the omelet making station when one woman who wasn't in line walks up to the person in front of me and says something in their shared language. "Can I cut in behind you? It's a long line." For brigading reasons, I'm not going to say what language it was, but suffice it to say I speak enough of that language to know what they were doing. I was surprised because, besides me, there were only 4 people behind me and 3 people in front. Anyway, she successfully cuts in. I was thinking of saying something, but instead I got petty. She got to the front of the line and filled up a small plate with the omelet fixings she wanted and passed the plate to the cook. She cooks it up, no problem. Then it's my turn. As the line cutter's getting her omelet back, she notices that I took the crispy bacon from another station and shredded them behind her, and had added it to my omelet fixings plate. I can see the envy already, but I decide to be pettier. I ask the omelet chef in my politest voice, "May I have some cheese, please?" The line cutter woman's eyes kinda went big when she realized she could have had cheese, which wasn't really an option at the fixing station, but I'd seen others ask the day before, and bacon on her basic-ass omelet. To top it off, at least 2 of the people behind me started ordering the same. From what I saw, I hope it caught on, and the omelet was frigging delicious. Take that, you line cutter.